You ready to go, buddy? Huh? We don't have your Toby cam on today because I'm wearing it. And we got you all buckled up there so you can't jump out the window and go eat something. So I think we're going to be good. Well, let's get this show on the road. We are riding the Heybike Ranger S again today. We're going to have some more discussions about that, but yeah. Let's just get out here and get going a little bit. Always helps when you remember to turn on your display and put it in gear. Well, that's different. I'll have to check my settings. Nope, that's not going to work. We must have goobered up our settings here, so let's take a look at that real quick. Okay, guys, so there's a setting here you need. Let's just talk about the app real quick before we get going too much. The app is pretty good. I don't have anything to compare it with, but you log in and you select your bike, and automatically finds the bike for you because it uses Bluetooth. So that part is good. But then you can go over here and you can go into personalize, and this is where you can make some adjustments to the settings. And like, speed, whether it be kilometers or miles, your top speed, we'll talk more about that. Here, the user top speed, so you can tell it whether or not you want to only go, 10 miles an hour or whatever. And I've got it to the max at 28, although we've never been able to hit 28 miles per hour. We've discussed that in other videos. But here's an interesting one, a throttle speed limiter. So basically, if you turn this, leave it to no, what's going to happen is, it's confusing how they got it worded here. Let me remember here. All right, if you turn this off, then basically you can go full throttle. Let's just test it. Can we go full throttle? Yeah. So that's it. So when you have it selected to no, you can just use your throttle and just go up to the highest speed that this bike can go. Excuse me. Which happens to be, 21 miles an hour on full throttle. But if you turn it to off, then what happens is your throttle is going to be limited to whatever the pass level is. So for instance, now my throttle is going to be limited to 5.5 because that's what we have it set at. So let's test that. So we're just going to get going here. Going kind of slow, putts along, so 5.4, that's as fast as I can go full throttle. So it's kind of a nice feature. If you don't want to mess with changing the pass levels on the button pad over here, you can just turn that off and be able to go full throttle, full bore all the time if that's how you like to ride. And sometimes that's how I like to ride. But today we're going to leave it set to on, so we're going to limit ourselves to each of these, and we'll just use the button pad to go through. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. What else can you do in here? It's kind of simple. Whether or not the backlight on the display is light or normal or dark, I've just got it set to light. I haven't really noticed a whole lot in this pass sensitivity here, so let's just stick it in 1 and watch what happens when I hit the throttle. So a nice slow gradual, but if we change the sensitivity up to 4, it's about the same. Whereas in my mock wheel score you, when you adjust the sensitivity, when you put it up to a higher number, it kicks like a donkey. I mean, it jumps and goes. And this doesn't seem to have much of a difference there for us. Here we can turn on personal settings. So if we've made adjustments and we want to turn on the personal settings, we can turn that on. I just turn that off. Down here is where you reset the trip, trip odometer, and then of course you can send everything back to the default settings right there. So kind of simple in the app, but it's effective. At least it gives you some functionality, and I really like that you can change the pass level settings. That part is pretty nice. Let's get going here. So again, nice and slow. So we're going to go ahead and use our button pad and kick it up to pass level 2. I need to adjust my mirror a little bit. There we go. And 3. And we'll go ahead and start pedaling. So Toby and I like to ride about, well, typically 12 to 14 miles per hour. I may need to go in there and adjust past level 3 and bring it down just a little bit, because now it's almost 16, but we may make that change here a little bit later. So let's go ahead and talk more about the Ranger S, because I put out a lot of videos. I've only had this bike about 8 or 9 days now, and I've put out a lot of videos. Some of them talking about some of the problems I've had. And I noticed on social media that people are starting to talk about the Ranger S, and they're saying, oh, don't buy it because, it's got a lot of problems. And the last time I looked, there's only a couple of videos out on YouTube. So we're going to go this way. There's only a couple of videos out on YouTube talking about it. And, each person has had something a little negative to say about the bike, something they didn't like. So there's some things I want to clarify, and that is some of the things that I've mentioned, and I'll recap them here, but some of the things I've mentioned are strictly my personal preference. Okay, it's not that there's anything wrong with the bike, it's just, my personal preference is I would like to have seen something a little different. So, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the bike. Overall, I think this is a great bike. And I've tried to reiterate that in a couple of my more recent videos too, is I do think it's a great bike. I think it's a really fun bike to ride, and there's no issues that are of a real big major concern. Yes, I wished it went 28 miles per hour on throttle only, because that's how it seemed it was when they advertised it, but it doesn't. And it appears, at this point, that's just how the bike was designed, that it doesn't go 28 on throttle only. It's only going to go 21. No big deal. A lot of people don't want to go 28 miles per hour. They only want to go 21 or less, and that's fine. And like right now, this is a nice little cruising speed, and we're kind of bouncing between 14 and 16. So there's nothing wrong with the bike in that regards. Also, I mentioned that I had some trouble getting the front wheel on. Yeah, I did. It's a slightly different design. They've got not only the little washers, but there's a little spacer sleeve that goes on there, and it's a really tight fit, and so it was a little troublesome trying to get everything lined up exactly right to set the wheel down onto the forks. And I was a little frustrated with that because it took me a little while, but if someone else had been there to help me, it would have been real easy, wouldn't have taken long at all. And the fact is, I hopefully won't have to remove that wheel very often, so not a big deal. Let's see, what else here to talk about? There is my initial review, I did talk about the little rubber seal that goes on the bottom of the down tube where all the wires enter the frame. It's just a protective sleeve that protects the wiring from rubbing up against the frame. And that little rubber piece kept popping out. And for my first several rides, there's nothing I could do to make it stay. It just wouldn't stay. It kept popping out. Well, guess what? I have not added any glue, and so far it's stayed. I mean, it's been like this now for the last 40, 50 miles or something. I haven't had any trouble with it. So that kind of corrected itself. There was a concern initially about the auto-on headlights because I couldn't find out how to turn that feature off. There's nothing in the app, and I looked around on the display. There's just nothing there that controlled the auto-on feature for those headlights. There's nothing in the manual that talks about the auto-on headlights, but there's a button, and you can't see that button, but it's over here underneath my right thumb. It's underneath the right throttle, and it's right down here, but there's a little button, and the button even says auto. And once I discovered it, then I realized that you can turn off the auto-on, auto-light feature. So, that corrected itself. So there's been several things that corrected itself. Turned out not to be a very big deal at all. Going back to speed, that's one thing that doesn't appear that can be corrected, but that's okay. Another thing that I will share that I did not talk about in my initial review video, and that is the torque on this bike. Not all 750 watt motors are the same, and the torque on this bike could be better. And that was noted in a couple other videos from other folks, that the torque is just not as good as what it could be. It's a little sluggish on hills. So I'd caution you if you are going to be riding on a lot of hills, you know, it may not work out for you as good as it might for somebody like myself who's mostly on flat ground here. I don't notice a torque problem unless I try going up a small hill, and I really don't have any hills here. The only time I really noticed it is down at the boat ramp at the park that we traveled down the road here. Yeah, I was on the boat ramp itself for just a little bit, and I had to go back up to the top, and the bike just didn't want to go too well. So, you know, that's probably the bigger issue that I didn't mention in my initial video. Other than that, yeah, it's a fun bike. I like that this bike weighs a lot less than the Mach-E Scoria, because the Mach-E Scoria has been my favorite bike for a long time, and it's a lot lighter than that bike. It makes it a little easier to maneuver, easier to handle. I didn't care for this thumb throttle initially because it was, you know, to me it was sensitive. But, you know, after riding the bike for a while, I've gotten familiar with it and I've gotten comfortable with it, and I don't have the same issues. I don't have the control problem that I did. So, well, even that's working out. Thank you. So yeah, so, you know, I do prefer a twist. That's just my personal preference. And yeah, you do have to rest your thumb over here on this little housing here, just kind of stabilize it a little bit. You can't just freely sit here on the thumb throttle. It does make it kind of hard to control the speed, but I like the fact that this motor responds so quickly when you do hit the throttle. So, you know, there's a trade-off there. So it's just getting used to it. Let's see. Not a lot we can do about the branding on the bike. I did mention that, and I released a short video today because I realized something just this morning when I was charging the bike and I was going through that. The headlight and the tail light has the Heybike name on it, and it lights up. And what I didn't realize, I thought that came on with the headlights. It doesn't. That stays on all the time. So anytime you jump on the bike and you turn on the display, as soon as you turn on the display, the Heybike lights up on the headlight and on the tail light, and there's no way to turn that off. They don't give you that option to shut that off because they want to, you know, advertise. And, you know, once I pay for the bike, I'd rather be able to control what advertising I'm doing when I'm going down the road. So I don't know, maybe we'll monkey with it at some point and figure out a way to, you know, pull out the light bulb or disconnect a wire or something to turn that off. I don't mind branding on the products that I use, certainly, but, you know, there's limits there, right? I bought the bike from them, and, well, I didn't. I paid for part of the bike. But you, as a consumer, you're going to buy the bike, and you shouldn't have to, you know, advertise for them as heavily as what they're wanting you to. They should pay you, right? So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. There is a sticker, a Heybike sticker on the down tube here. I might peel off just to get rid of that. Can't do much about the light and the tail light unless I change them out completely. I could, but I probably won't. No need for that. So, yeah. Let's see what else. The brakes on this bike are really well. I've had to test those out a little bit. I actually tested them out yesterday. Almost had an incident yesterday. I was approaching a stop sign to a busy road there outside my neighborhood. You may have seen it in other videos. And I was getting ready to take a left to hop onto the sidewalk. And it was quitting time, so there's a lot of heavy traffic going both directions on the road in front of me. And you know, I didn't see anyone with a turn signal. And so I didn't slow down completely as I approached and was going to make a left to get on the sidewalk before I got to the stop sign, so I didn't have to come to a stop or anything. But just as I got ready to start to make my turn, a car coming rather fast had a small opening in the heavy traffic that was coming from the other direction, so he decided to whip in real quick, made a quick left turn just as I was getting ready to turn. So you know, I had to hit both brakes, and luckily the brakes worked great because I came to a very quick stop. Scared him because he smashed on his brakes too. you know, so we could have met in the middle there. We didn't, but we could have. So, always got to watch what you're doing. People are crazy. So, gonna zip in here. Only been in this little neighborhood once or twice. I was gonna stay out of the neighborhoods for the most part this time of morning because people are out walking their dogs, and doggone it, Toby just doesn't get along well with other dogs, and when he sees one, he wants to jump out and eat it. For a small little guy, I don't know why he's so aggressive towards other dogs. He's not aggressive toward people, thankfully, but so sometimes I just don't want to deal with him, and I just, if I see somebody walking a dog, I turn around and go the other way. All right, let's see here. Don't want this video to run too long, but enjoying a ride with Toby here, and not sure how long you're going to want to stick with me. Just wanted to recap some things about the Ranger because I do like it. I do. I want to like it more. That's why I keep riding it every day, because I really want to like it even more. But for my needs, you know, when I go riding, unless I've got Toby with me, it's a short ride. But otherwise, if I'm out riding, I'm gonna, you know, I'll go at least 20 miles or 30 miles. A lot of my adventure rides, I go with my Facebook riding club. It's, you know, 25 to 30 miles. And I wouldn't be able to take this bike based on the short little test that I did with it. You know, I mean, my initial charge of the bike got me 21 miles. But I was doing a lot of testing. I was doing a lot of throttle work. I was doing a lot of hard pushing it because I was trying to figure out how to get the bike to that 28 miles per hour. So I need to do another range test soon and just get out and ride and just see how far I can go, so that I know if I can take it on when my riding group gets together. But right now, I can't trust it because I don't want to run out of battery and put myself in a world of hurt. There's another thing too. I'm ghost pedaling mostly here at 16 miles per hour, so that's another thing I'd have to correct if I keep this bike. Is I got to change out the back cassette. I think someone said I needed like an 11 tooth for the small sprocket. I don't know what's on there now, but it's too small. I mean, it's not small enough actually. We just get a lot of ghost pedaling, which isn't just a Heybike problem. It's every manufacturer does that. Oh look here, we're at the end of the road. So maybe this is a good time to end this video. So hey, if you like this video, give me a like, comment down below any questions you have. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe because I do a lot of talking sometimes. I like to share knowledge, I like to share bike reviews, I like to share and help people along, especially all those folks that are new. So make sure you subscribe if you're new for sure. And hey guys, I will see you in another video real soon.